Welcome to M5. It's only fitting that our first guest has his name start with an M. How are you?
Sure, why not?
I'm fantastic. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Let's jump straight into hot seats. Everybody will show up as they show up. Let me get my timer going.
All right.
For you, 6 minutes for being first. What are we celebrating, Marshall?
Uh, a lot of clearing. It was very well served by the exchange we had on the thread.
Cool.
Also taking care of my body somatically and physically. So that worked out nicely as well.
Cool, man. You're yawning as we speak. You're still releasing.
Yeah. Well, I went to it had been a while since I've been to my chiropractor. I went on Monday because it kind of reached a critical point. And then I went back again today and also went through a bit of cupping. And so, yeah, a lot of relief.
Hmm. Amazing. Well, what's next? What do you need? How can I help? Why are you here? Any of
Well,
the above.
here for the connection with the community. What I need next is sleep, to be perfectly honest.
All right.
Uh, and then, it's continuing on with the standing and the feeling of wish fulfilled, doing a little bit of review, and I got the $100 million dollar leads book, so reading into that and continuing to outreach to people, and be mindful of how fast I'm moving so that I can take care of the things that pop up.
Respect.
Yeah.
If there were one question, go ahead. Sorry, did I cut you off?
Oh no, go ahead.
If there were one question you could ask that would make everything else easier or unnecessary or more efficient or effective, what would that be?
Good. Um, I'm trying to come up with something a little bit more real and moderately serious rather than cheeky. Um, I I don't really know.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm because the things were coming up that were, stuff I already have the answers to, at least in part because of your help and teaching,
Hmm.
and some of it because of my own experimentation around, how to continue to be grounded and be patient and how to step into the feeling where I feel like I've got lots of juice and aliveness and energy. Um, you know, what else to do around, asking for other people for help where appropriate and what feels good, what sorts of things to even ask for. Um, yeah, I'm feeling pretty groovy overall. Some of the cheeky question that came up is, what can I do for you that you'd pay me 10 grand for?
Me, me, huh? Um, give me 100 grand. I'm serious. That was one of my
Yeah,
best sales things was like if somebody walked up to you and made you a deal, like you gave them $5 and they gave you 50, would you take that deal?
yeah.
Yeah, so if somebody gave you 10 grand and you gave them 100 grand, should they take that deal?
Well, quite obviously,
Yeah, money is the easiest thing to sell, I think, or
probably.
the possibility of money. So I'm gonna spin your question around because there's something in there. Um, how much does it cost these men to be walking around without this skill? I'm
I
talking
mean
executives.
that's the it's going to be hard for people to put an actual number on it, but my estimates are at least 100 grand. It's like,
Who would you love to serve? Like CEOs?
that's certainly more in range. It could doesn't have to necessarily be the CEO level itself, but like men with some level of leadership and responsibility in the work that they do. So we could be talking other senior, level, um, even worker bees in that sort of sense, but like people who lead a team.
So this is pretty dangerous. I feel really inspired to go on a digression.
You know, to be honest, it's not that difficult to do with you.
Well, welcome, Antonia. Welcome,
and,
Preston. I see you
and
all.
I am very glad to be an inspiration to you on any way you want to go.
So I was talking to the new robot recently, as in just now, asking it the question, how much is it costing CEOs and other high-performing professionals to not have emotional intelligence, which is what you train in their work and with the
Mhm.
opposite sex? And it quoted International Business Times saying there's an $8.8 trillion annually lost in employee engagement. So that's looking at the leader from the top down. You get a CEO in your program, 10 grand, they're probably making exponentially more. And I mean, I can send you this conversation if you want,
It'd be cool. I'd like that.
and you could start using this in your marketing.
Yeah,
There seems to be some good answers here. And
because
then the
that
other,
I suppose was the meat under that question is like how and where do I target men who make more income than who I have been targeting, basically.
man, you live how far from high rises where CEOs go to work every day?
Yeah, they typically don't let you in the building if you don't work there, though.
Well, they walk into the building though. I'm not saying hang out and hover. I'm saying like get creative, get clever, get crafty. You've got ingenuity in there that you probably haven't reached for yet.
Yes, that's true. I just came up with an idea. Anyway,
Boom. All right. Is that enough for you to chew on?
yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Let's acknowledge Marshall. I'm imagining them waving their fingers. Preston adds in, Jonathan England would say it's costing the difference they could outsource against their income goals. You want to hop in and tell me what you mean by that, Preston? It's a little vague the way you stated it, though I acknowledge and appreciate your commitment to contribution here. Um,
Yes. Can you hear me?
yes.
Hello? Okay. So, if I die before I wake, he talks about outsourcing and delegating tasks. And so if your income goal is $1 million per year, and that's $500 an hour, and you're doing something for an hour that's not making you $500, then it's costing you that much per hour. And then if losing that compared to what your aims are.
Yeah, so in this context, what is the task that they are not delegating because they're missing emotional intelligence? Or is it just that they're not delegating because they lack the emotional intelligence?
That would probably be it.
Uh, okay, yeah. I was like, is that question for me? I think that's a Marsh.
Well, I was trying to understand what you were saying with it because it makes sense in a business context. Like I'm doing something that is a $20 an hour activity when in fact I could be doing a $10,000 per hour activity or an activity that could net me $10,000. And so they're losing money when they're putting their focus on a place other than their genius zone. Um, but Marshall, what do you want to do with that? Just if you want to pick it up for a minute and did something
Yeah,
there.
so I'd say where that comes into play, it kind of is this like a little bit of the challenge in translation. because a lot of the men who would be in a spot like that uh, probably wouldn't even be looking inside the category of emotional intelligence as far as what's missing from my experience. There are exceptions, obviously, but most of the men in those types of roles are very mission oriented, business oriented, number oriented, logical thinking. And so there's not always a whole bunch of outside the box, even if they can get some creativity, it's still like, oh, it's a business box.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, just trying to speak on like an ROI level with these people is challenging for me.
Oh, we just
You know what I mean?
talking points for that. And here's what I hear. Have you interviewed Guy for market research? Because he once was
There,
one.
I,
Sorry, is that too soon?
there's a whole lot of other things that are present in this that connection. So I would ask other men.
Yeah, so
But
my,
yes,
my
good
thinking
example.
was
Good example.
my thinking was just market research towards discovering where the veins to tap are in the larger community.
For
Because
sure.
absolutely certain he's networking with them. And I think you're probably full. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that was helpful though, because we've got a variety of men in a variety of communities that I'm tapped into, and so it was certainly some of them are at least more close to that like leadership CEO businessman role.
Hmm.
So
Your net worth is in your network. I'll leave you with that.
yes, indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, we're doing topsy turvy today with hot seats. It looks like 10 to 12 minutes max, actually. We're still aiming for shorter. And who's next? Who's got some wins to celebrate or things to share? And then I'll get to practice elegance later, which is integrity, agreements, your wish is your command. We're establishing a culture here. So some of you are here for 6 months to a year, and what I noticed. Let me tell y'all a story because y'all are being quiet. I could just jump off into the review process. Um, there are distinctions that just slip from my mind. Powerful distinctions. For example, red, yellow, green, which Marshall and I are both aware of from One Taste, whose founder was recently imprisoned and sentenced to 30 years or something crazy. I don't know. Um, Feel free to give the number in the chat because we want to get the skinny on that, I'm sure. I'll have a video on that. That's great. Oh, I might have misread that. 9 years. Okay. So anyway, for human trafficking. Anyway, we won't go too far into that. Long story short, red, yellow, green is if you're in green, you're a-okay. You're untriggered, you're cheerful, you're happy, you're at ease, you're having fun connecting. Yellow, you're like slightly triggered. You're like dealing with um, a reaction in your nervous system, but it hasn't overcome you. This is what Alexander Shogun on the Shogun scale would call a +1 or a +2. Anybody know what I'm talking about with that? All right. Alexander Shogun was a chemist who, because of his work with Dow Chemical, was awarded a license by the DEA to synthesize and test novel psychedelic compounds on he and his friends on the farm, capital TF, on the weekends for decades. And he invented aka discovered psychedelic chemical compounds that hitherto in the history of not just humanity, but the universe never existed. Stuff like 2,5-dimethoxy-4-ethylphenethylamine, 2CB. Highly enjoy that. I'm just realizing this is going to be on YouTube. Which I practiced with a legal psychedelic church under a 508c1a. Preston has uh, commented something which I will not speak. So Anyway, long story short, he has this 4-part scale. +1 is like, I notice that the drug is active. +2 is like, all right, it's going somewhere. +3 is I can no longer deny the effect of the drug or the intensity of the effect. I have to buckle up and now go for the ride. +4 is a different category. It's like a mystical experience of Satori where you see God. So the relation my mind's making between that scale and the red, yellow, green is red is +3. Red is like this thing, I've lost control over this thing. I've been abducted by anger or grief or whatever. So now it's like a matter of bull in a china shop, making sure I don't damage anything too deeply, too seriously, or walking the fuck out of the room. Like I'm not home right now. If we were to have a conversation, you'd be talking to a TV, like autopilot robot. So all of that to say, this distinction, who sees that this could be very useful in conversations and conflicts? I'm pretty sure Marshall actually teaches it. Yeah. So I've taught it, but it's been a year since I've taught it. Look at that. That's great. The fireworks. And I was having a conversation with a fellow entrepreneur whose business did well, the business with his partner did about, it's like between 50 and 70 grand in the past 5 months. So he's doing pretty decent. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, don't you teach that distinction?" And I turned to him and I was like, "You're right. I do teach that distinction. It's a wonder that I'm not using it. I'm not remembering it. And why do we not use things? Well, what you use more becomes more useful to you. Neurons that fire together wire together. The more pathways you route to a distinction, be a teachability index, Preston, or self-care, Antonia, um, the more you'll be able to work your world through that distinction. They used to say in the landmark courses, don't try to fit the course into your life, fit your life into the course. And allow the context that the course is to support you to be more powerful in your life. That's my invitation about this course, by the way. If you're coachable, please put your thumb up. You're down to be putting everything in the context of this. All right, cool. Oh, now I see where you all are. Two birds with one stone. It's going to be warm down here. You both seem to enjoy cold, though. So you all are probably very cold, all three of you, in the weather, in terms of weather. You're all very warm in terms of heart. It's good to see you. So we're going to review our core, our most important competences of this culture. Oh, today it was 80. Well, congratulations, man. It was hot in Texas today. So who would like to define elegance? Elegance is the way that we're going to do our distinctions, probably the most important distinction. All right, this is why we're having a review. Go ahead, Preston. I saw you first, and then Marshall, if you want. What's elegance, Preston?
Mm. Being effective efficiently.
Ha! That was a new cut on the distinction. I'm impressed. Go team. Ha! So yes, elegance is being effective efficiently. So it's accomplishing the maximum amount of, be it profit or depth of intimacy or um, transformational like support, in the minimum amount of effort or words or input. And we want that in business because the more you do that, the less you have to do later. So if I build leverage like a landing page, I can simply route traffic to that. Or if I pin a post that says, who wants the PDF on how my client created 20K in 2 weeks? That's my client. Oh, I'm happy to send you that, Antonia. I'm pretty sure you've seen it before, but I'll grab it. Um, it's worth a review. I'm actually planning on reviewing it. How was it, by the way, Marshall? You recently did review it. You gave your word to reviewing it.
I did it, and it was accurate. I mean, that's what I did. It's that simple.
Cool. That's what I look for. Was it elegant?
I will have to see if there might be some tweaks because I wasn't paying full attention to the elegance. particularly because I was like, oh, well, my body actually already knows this. So,
Got
but
it.
yeah, a
Yeah.
more precise review. I'll get you one.
Cool. Yeah, that'll require you to go back through it and read.
Darn.
And here's the other thing, even that's like the core competence of my capacity as a business coach. I still review it to put myself in the precise energetic flavor and texture of it. Because there's decision energy, which is behind all of it. Decision is cutting off from all other options. If it is to be, it depends on me, and this is going to happen. I'm going to do it. That's it, period. And once I've made that decision, then my ingenuity, my intuition, my intelligence, my integrity activates. And sometimes it can be hard to do that on an hour a day. Because you tell your mind, like, I'm all in, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna make it happen. And then I'm gonna put in just the minimum amount of effort. I'm not gonna say it's impossible to do that, because I used to do that from time to time, but that was a different time. That was when I had a 4,000 person following and I could say, put out a single mission post and then get 10 people raising their hands. And then it's a logistics and a numbers game from there. If you don't have an audience like that, if you don't have a post that you can put out like that or leverage, right? Going back, building an audience is building leverage. So there you have to, so you get to put in less effort. So if you aren't finding it easy to produce results and creating leads currently, build an audience. And that may take weeks, months, years, fine. Buckle up, settle in, commit to the work. Most business coaches out there are teaching tricks and tips and shortcuts. But Marshall and I, we've seen how little shortcuts work in the long run, right? We get this spike
They
in income and because
don't
we didn't
work at
build leverage.
all.
Go ahead, sorry.
They don't work at all.
Well, I mean, sales and marketing tactics, they work until they don't, right?
Well, yeah, and it's that old saying, what you get, well, when you get to where you want to go is, or what you get when you get there is based upon how you got there, basically.
Yes. So, say that again in simpler terms because I could hear the truth of it, but I couldn't understand the truth of it.
Totally. So you're aiming towards a goal,
hmm
and you get all the way to the end.
hmm
What you actually get once you've gotten to the end is based on how you got there.
Yes.
Yep.
Energetically, strategically, tactically.
Yep. And so if you did it with a one-trick pony, guess what? You've got a one-trick pony. Even
Yeah.
if that
Okay.
one-trick pony was a, $100 million one-trick pony, whatever it is, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, for example, and you're about to go through this with $100 million leads. If somebody were executing the warm outreach strategy, just messaging people saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Build a little bit of rapport, do some connection. Um, hey, can I tell you about something awesome? Okay, cool, thanks. I'm doing this course. I'm coaching parents around, how to handle their children. Um, who do you know who's dealing with stuff with like that? And then you go through the cycle, you execute the strategy faithfully from faith, from an energy of decision, from an energy of trust. The energy, it can still work even if you're not putting in a lot of hours. And then you go through the whole thing. Well, then learn from the data that maybe there's more leverage to build to make your efforts more elegant in the future. For example, is that helpful? She's nodding. Okay, great. People can tell when I'm talking about them. Um, so elegance, we're gonna do our best to have today, conduct today with elegance. I'm looking at my list. Okay, first there's integrity, then there's agreements, because we're anchoring into the culture of what we're creating, which is a little bit of a hint about our retreat. There's a whole segment that I designed this morning that I'm so excited about from the slideshow. I haven't gotten excited about a slideshow in a while called Lifton's Thought Reform Criteria. He wrote a book about the psychology of totalism and thought reform. Thought reform, also known as brainwashing, which any good transformational community is probably doing, except they're doing it in a direction of your empowerment, ideally. until or unless they aren't. So there's an edge. There's like a Venn diagram where cults, culture, and coaching overlap. And so in the middle of that, people are empowering you. People are repeatedly telling you, join the Global Information Network, or join One Taste, or join Landmark, or stay in Landmark. And then at a certain point, it veers off into a realm of like cultish behavior, where the organization is seeking to reproduce itself through you, and they're no longer in like effective support of your highest expression. So why am I saying all of this? How do these distinctions apply in cults, coaching, and culture? Is a question that we'll be orbiting on the retreat as we're engaging with the work of Jonathan England, which it looks like Preston already really appreciates, right? Because he read If I Die Before I Wake. Highly recommend. So there was a thread I was following. Marshall, you're not course manager today, but do you remember where I got onto the what was valuable to you before I went off talking about cults?
Well, we were talking about elegance, and then we got into some like basically repeated transformational messaging. Um,
Oh yeah. So what you're here for is for me to reinforce and brainwash you into an identity bigger, stronger, better, more effective than the one you came into here with. Until you believe it, until you're sovereign in it. Now, what's tricky about that is an identity built in community depends on community. I have found in Landmark, in One Taste, in Earthwaking. So there's like nervous system level and self-image style work, which Kevin Trudeau rightfully points you towards in psychocybernetics, see you at the top, that you'll need to do on your own to maintain that. Beyond like, all right, there's this guy that yells at me to do shit every week or through audios on Signal, and then I do some of that shit, and then I feel shitty when I don't do that shit, and then some days I'm really grateful because it's the weekend and he's off. His office hours are off. He's not going to tell me to do shit. And it's like okay, your ego might see coaching that way, but instead, elegance from the side of pulling from what you're receiving is how can I get the maximum amount out of the littlest amount of coaching? Which brings us all the way back to, on my side, it's my job to give you the littlest amount that produces the most result. Hence why the hot seats were intended to be shorter today, because I'm practicing like, let me not overwhelm and fire hose people. Let me just give them the one insight that will change the direction of their entire life. You picking up what I'm putting down, lady and gentle sirs? Cool. Pushing the button. Pushing the easy button. There it is. Thank you. Everybody's distinguishing today. I love this. So from elegance, we go to integrity. Marshall, I think you got this one.
it is basically making a decision and something that you value or stand for, and say you're gonna do it, and say when you oops didn't do it, and get back into it. Like riding riding the wagon. Make sure if you fall off, you get back on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good beginning. I like it. Thank you. So in my world, integrity is the most powerful distinction because you've got a thing in here that's like inner critic, you've got distractions, you've got 20, 30, 40 years of programming that points you in another direction. But if you start relating to yourself as your word, you can, for example, I love this story. Imagine that you're walking with a friend to a very large wall, and you can't see the top of it, you can't see the end of it on either side. There's no handholds, no ladder, nothing like that. Your friend is wearing a hat. As you walk up to the, yeah, see, I've never told this story this way. That's why Marshall's loving it. When you walk up to the wall, you take the hat off your friend. Before they can say anything, you throw it over the fence. And now the friend looks at you and says, "What the fuck, yo? I loved that hat. Why did you do that?" And then the other person, you look at them and you say, well, now we have to find a way over in order to get the hat back, right? So integrity is a willingness to honor your word to the point of expanding yourself. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to show up keeping my promises and agreements. Hopefully those promises and agreements are in alignment with me and they're true to me. And as I live from there, I will start to trust myself for my word. Other people will start to trust me for my word. The universe will start to trust me for my word. And when I say chair, chair will fall out of my mouth. When I say new client, within a week or two, a new client will show up. Just look at feel free to prosper. It works. If you work it, you're worth it. Please work it. That might be something to double down on, Antonia, Marshall. Preston's doing great, by the way, with his financial achievements and sales. Adds a directional quality to integrity, expansion. Yeah. So feel free to prosper is, lesson one in the back of the book. You could start doing that. And over the next 2 weeks, just easefully, 5 to 10 minutes. By the way, Antonia, if you want to do this, you have my permission to add this in to your hour a day of warm outreach. Not add it in, but like get rid of some of the outreach and spend 10 minutes feeling into how wealthy and abundant and successful you are, writing and executing lesson one. I accept prosperity thought. I easily accept new prosperity thoughts, and I'm ready to increase my income now. Like feel it before you act on it. And then the actions will be infused with an energy of receiving that maybe wasn't present when you were in the energy of have to, got to, must do the things so that I can get somewhere I'm not already. And I see you both receiving this. Marshall, was there some measure of that for you before where you were pushing to make something happen that, yeah.
Well, so this touches basically on what was on the thread, in which as I was practicing standing in the feeling of my wish fulfilled and like doing my best to be in that energy and creating it either through writing or whatever technique, I realized there was just like a fly in the ointment. Something doesn't feel like I'm actually doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, why? So I went fiddle around. This thing over here.
Yeah, so if you're taking actions and they're not producing results and it doesn't feel easy, ask and inquire into in your somatic experience, what in me does not feel like inspired, lit up, filled with faith, right? You literally, there's a substance, there's a quantitative substance of faith. And what you're doing when you manifest is you charge an image with the substance of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's imagination focused on a desirable outcome because your imagination is powerful. It programs your subconscious mind with where to focus. It reshapes and sculpts your self-image into believing you can have it. And it activates magic and miracles and manifestation and synchronicity and serendipity. So you have, what is it? Luke says to Leia, you have that power too. That's Return of the Jedi. And so fear is imagination running wild. Fear is imagination saying, all right, I'm going to do all these actions, but I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not sure. So instead of fear, put your energy over here into focus on faith. Trust, knowing, know it's done, and you're just figuring out, you're enjoying the journey of learning how that victory was won. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Faith is a fundamental distinction here too. So if you throw your hat over the fence, that directional quality of expansion that Marshall was pointing to comes from your willingness to put faith in who you are becoming. If you always act from who you've always been, you'll always be stuck with the results you used to get. But if you choose to act from who you are becoming, and this usually looks like taking dramatic, bold, imperfect, massive action, or specific dramatic actions. Like in 2020, quarter three, a former German gangster turned theta healer and business coach had me on the phone and was saying, I believe you can make 100 grand in the next year. And I know how to help you do that. You want help? And I was like, yeah, actually I do. And he was like, well, it'll be 5 grand. I was like, I don't have 5 grand. And he was like, all right, how much do you have? And I was like, well, I got rent money for next week. And he was like, all right. And I was like, okay, I'm putting down my rent. I'm putting some of my rent that's due next week. And what that did was it put my ass on the line. You'll hear this in Awaken Life Live. The universal symbol for success. Let me see if I can do this. This is gonna be really fun. Um, Advanced whiteboard. Good enough. I really wanted to write on the screen. You've seen people do this from time to time. Sign in. What? No. It's not letting me. Just imagine I'm drawing here. So, so there's this and this with a line underneath it. Universal symbol of success. Your ass is on the line. If your ass is not on the line in creating a new brand, it might be successful, it might not. You've got to find some way to turn your should into a must. And that must can't come from hustle and grind. It's got to come from like divinely aligned, from like inspired trust, belief, faith, because then you activate magic. Otherwise, you're working only in the 3D. So this is a reminder, not just for you, but also for me. Um, Integrity, it actually makes your energetic field coherent. If I start honoring my word, then I'm not fragmenting and fracturing and shattering my field with promises broken and energy that is stuck tethered into doing damage control or making excuses or giving explanations or trying to avert my gaze from the fact that I should really do the clothes that are in my dryer that have been there for 4 days. As I was tuning into the energy of the retreat, I was thinking, yeah, how can I clean up my integrity in as many areas of life as possible so that I can be as singularly constituted energetically in my vibration and my intention and my focus so that I can produce the best results for the people who are showing up and have the most fun time too. Who's noticed that when you keep your promises and you're not like catching like in chaos and catching up, like things are actually more peaceful and easier the better you practice integrity. Yeah. And then, of course, integrity doesn't make you better if you do it or worse if you don't. It just makes you more effective and more trustworthy for you and for the people around you and for the universe that wants to give to you what's most aligned to you in your highest and best need and choice. So that's integrity. And what does integrity look like in practice? Please show the fuck up on time.
A good way
Not
to
water.
start.
What's that?
It's a good way to start.
It's a good way to start because it's the easiest place to like measure, right? So who has not been showing up on time for things in your life? Just in general. Just in general. Maybe you were late once recently or you didn't do something that you said. Yeah, or you were late today for this. So here's what we do to clean up our integrity. This is how we, yeah, thank you. I was waiting for it. The cute little face there. I'll take that as a yes. So my invitation, not for me, because I'm not your fucking dad. I don't want to be, but for you to empower you to clean up your field and to be able to reclaim your authority, your sovereignty through the powerful tool of creation that is your speaking. The three-step process for cleaning up your word goes like this. I didn't do the thing. So everybody put I didn't do the thing in the chat. Doesn't matter what the thing is. I'm going to put I didn't do the thing. Oops. So my recommit is screens off at 8:15 and no screens back on afterwards until 8:15 the next morning. I broke that last night. The impact on me was I was up for another couple hours and I was like scatterbrained and fuzzy and my sleep wasn't as good. Oopsie. Great. You put oopsie. Yeah, because this is not heavy. This is not bad. This is not wrong. It's not the end of the world. There's an opportunity here for reclaiming power. The next piece is acknowledging the impact. So what was the impact on you of breaking your word? Get it specific. So I was feeling out of sorts. I was fuzzy. I slid into a little bit of mistrust, like, hey, you just cut a corner, Louis. Now you have to go report to your coach that you cut a corner. Now you have to recommit. And it's very important acknowledging the impact and opening a space for the acknowledgement of the impact on others. So let's play a game. Antonio, will you come off mute and come on real quick?
Yes.
Will you do me a favor and ask me what was the impact of, and literally just repeat what I'm saying. What was the impact of me being late on you today?
What was the impact of me being late on you today?
There was a little part of me that felt a little devalued. I didn't have a full-on reaction. There was another part of me that was like disappointed. I was like, oh, my people, where are they? There's another part of me that was just like, what's going on? Is everything all right? Are they going to show up tonight? Is it going to be a one-man VIP day for Marshall? I mean, I got a lot for him, but that's too much for him. So there was an impact. Your absence makes an impact. So just so we can complete this little game, what was the impact on you, Antonia, of being a little late? Was there one? It might not have been that you perceived.
Um, well, I knew I'm gonna be late, so I was like, oh well, it's okay. 5 minutes is fine.
Ah,
That's what I was justifying it for myself.
yeah. So how we do anything is how we do everything. Let's get it on the court with something that really matters for you because, being on time, it's a thing. It's not the thing. What is an area of life where you've cut a corner like that, where you've like hand waved, that's led to less of what you want or what's like really juicy and nourishing for you? If you were to know what area.
Going to bed early enough.
Huh, that's great because that's my area. Who else has got that? Come on. Who's got a commitment or a promise to themselves that they'll go to bed on time? Give me the duck hand. Yeah, the duck hand. The duck hand wants to go to Lewis wants to go Lewis. Okay, I'm not even gonna try it. Lewis wants to go to bed at 8:15
8:15. Whoa.
Central Time. Yeah,
Oh yeah, right.
because I find that if I do that and I finish eating a couple hours before, then I go down and I sleep really easily and really well and really deeply. And then I wake up actually well rested. But who has been spending time on screens instead? Come on. Yeah, that's it. That's the deeper problem. We're actually going to have a media fast while we're on the retreat. Who's excited? Give me a thumbs up.
Yay!
You're welcome to. This is an invitation for you. From the moment you arrive at the Airbnb until the moment you leave. That would be like hard mode. There's the so that's like gold level. Less than that is like at least 34 hours starting Friday morning to Saturday night. Um, and then less than that is, whatever you make up just for fun, like maybe a full day or something. So we now know a couple things. We know that there's an impact to you being late. Like how we do anything is how we do everything. So if you let yourself off the hook and allow yourself to be late, what's more likely to happen when it's time to be on time for going to bed?
I'll be late.
Yeah, you're gonna be late. See, we found one that's a direct map or a direct match. Oh yeah, I hear the stress. Has it been stressing you out going to bed late?
Oh, yes and no, because I just put too many things to do. That's why I'm like, ah, yeah, no time. Like I have not enough time in a day to do everything. So that's the thing.
Yeah, so we could go and we might on the retreat go into a deep examination of what you're doing on your calendar because and I get it. It took yesterday literally my coach sitting there on our coaching call. I've paid thousands of dollars for these coaching calls and I'm like, just watch me while I remove things from my calendar so there's more white space. I might and I was like, I know this feels like babysitting, but it's basically like you're my big brother helping me to clean up space so that I can actually be in grace. So feel free to imagine me doing that with you and do that on your own with your own calendar. Like, hey, where can you make white space? What's absolutely necessary? Oh, that's actually not absolutely necessary. We're not going to address the whole pattern of burnout, but what is your recommit? Now that you realize the consequences, of breaking your word to yourself here and elsewhere? What would you like to recommit to?
The most important things and prioritize that and just leave the minor things aside or for the next day or the next day, and it doesn't matter. But complete, at least like commit to, even if it's one thing, but to completely do it and completely be in it and on time, and just even if it's one thing, just do it. Start small, because it's not about doing, for me it's about doing as much as I can. I have that like, oh, anxiety of, oh, I don't have enough time. Um, what happened? So, yes.
So I love that. And uh, can I count on you to show up on time and honor your word in general? Yes or no?
Yes. Usually I'm always early or I'm rarely not on time. So
I
this is
know.
for me like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a sign. It's a sign of something. So something came through.
Resistance.
What's that?
Resistance.
Resistance is futile. You're going to spend it 4 days with me. You're going to have an amazing time.
Resistance of being coachable, expanding. It's like, ah, I know this stuff and that doesn't work. Like, yeah, like I know it all already. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
an
So
ego, I think.
are you willing to let the ego go?
Yeah. Yes.
Ego, go, go.
You
And
go, go, go.
and
Yes.
then the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I see I'm good at distracting myself. That's self-sabotage, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a decent coach.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you.
fighting all yourself here. I love it. So this was your hot seat. I didn't expect this to go this way, but the integrity happened to land in your lap in this way. So last thing for you, it's better to do less better than more worse.
Better to do less, better, perfect, than more and not good, not enough
Exactly.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because the more we split our attention and our focus, the more damage we're doing to our body because we're pushing to do too much. I've been there. By the way, the retreat flyer says that you will have a certified Qigong teacher. I won't be a certified Qigong. I might, but I'm not holding myself to that because I realized I was spinning myself out. I was trying to do too much to finish another 20 hours of Qigong stuff
So in a
before.
way, I'm a reflection of you.
Yes, yes, it's been acute. I've been acutely conscious of this. It's been so painful to see, oh shit, I am the clearing for people burning themselves. Cancel clear. In the past, I was the clearing for people to burn themselves out, which does not mean that your results will always be a one-to-one vibrational match for where I'm at. They
Yeah.
often haven't been. Marshall is living proof that people can go far beyond me, far earlier than I ever achieve things. And your results are your choice. In fact, the whole purpose of the retreat is to restore you to your sovereignty so you can take from and use whatever models, frames, teachings, trainings I give you or point you to without being overwhelmed by them, without being knocked off your center in a way that keeps you sovereign. Sound fun?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Marshall thinks that quote's from me, ready, fire, aim. It's from somebody else,
That's where I heard it from.
yeah,
So
okay, yeah, that's good. So thank you for playing, Antonia. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the other side of integrity. Let's acknowledge Antonia. Yay!
Thank you.
All right. So let me catch up on the chat because other people were restoring their integrity. Massive stress on myself and on the person impacted. Yeah, when you break a promise, it tends to cause stress, both for you and with people around you. Preston says, I miss the feeling of alignment and the energy boost from being in integrity. Yeah, because there's an energy boost. When I honor my word, I actually feel better. It's a way to make myself feel good now, even more feeling good now. And I didn't show up my peers and mentor the value they contribute. Yeah, and so there's like an honoring, there's an edifying that like honors the space, it honors the people. Because really, when you honor your promise, you're honoring the people you made it to. So that's great leverage. Because if you care about how they see or respond or react to you or view you or experience you, then maybe doing what you say you're going to do will actually really leave them feeling honored. And when you don't, it may leave them feeling dishonored. There was a guy I recently came back into good graces with who in December made an offer to me. It was a 10 grand offer, and it was a good offer, and it was a strong opportunity. I could have become a facilitator in his organization and all of this. And he was like, all right, how can you make the money? And I was like, well, it's a little quick for me to generate 10 grand in client income. So, but maybe investors. And I made a promise to him and I broke that promise. I went dark and I disappeared. And then a couple days later, I was like making excuses for why this was too much and too heavy and I'm too burnt out, quote unquote. And he actually felt dishonored because he was pouring love into me and he really believed me. And it broke his trust. And it took something. Like actually it was the first step on a long road of like or a road of eviscerating integrity. And so the less promises you keep and someone's listening, the more mistrust you engender, the more mistrust you breed, the less capacity you have to leverage their listening to springboard into a higher expression of yourself. Every relationship you're in has the ability to, by virtue of how people listen to you and engage with you and how you listen to them, be a springboard into your greatness. Like a diving board, like, yay, I'm gonna expand through this conversation. Or it can be an anchor pulling you down or a reminder of how you didn't show up. So I recommend you make all the relationships into springboards and cultivate that. So we did integrity. Wait, let's see. Did you all want to make new agreements, Marshall, Preston? Is there anything you wanted to recommit to in the chat? Maybe being on time, maybe practicing integrity in general.
I recommit to being on time everywhere.
Simple. Maybe not easy, but simple. Give me a thumbs up if you're recommitting to integrity everywhere. And this just means you're going to start hunting for it, right? You may find that you're out of integrity with a several $100 toll violation bill that they just keep sending you the bill for, even though you know they're not going to prosecute you. And then you're like, well, maybe I should come into integrity with this. Laws do occasionally have consequences. I spent a whole year without a registration tag, and I've created a lot of energetic contexts around my relationship with common expectations in culture, because most culture is culture. It's made up bullshit, dogmatic domestication and programming that turns you into the bitch of the DMV. And I'm like, no. So, well, I walked around for a year. I'm not recommending you do this, by the way. This is public knowledge. So this is just your mileage may vary. Check your local laws for full consent and sovereign choice. But for me, I went for a year without having a registration tag. And then because I created the belief, all beliefs are decisions. So I made the decision and then I released all my resistance to this belief that I don't need to worry about this. And I didn't. And I firmly believe that I would have never been pulled over because I choose to believe I have the favor of God and the universe reshapes itself around my will and intent. And if I've released all resistance, then I don't need to attract an experience of confirmation for a contrary belief. That's why the release resistance process is so powerful, y'all. I'm convinced that certain technical machinery in my life is only still working because I've resisted. It's like Jesus, reproduces the fish. He makes the fish and the loaves multiply. I'm like, I've multiplied through the power of my mind and manifestation the functionality of this equipment. It's far past what it should have, like it cancel clear. I'm not even going to say anything that would cast aspersion on it. This is high level magic I'm communicating. So it's also controversial. Your mileage may vary. My clients are responsible for their results. I am not, and their behavior. But all right, cool. So one of my favorite Louis quotes: "Ready, fire, aim." Yeah, yeah. Eventually, you got to aim. Is the upgrade I would add to that. Eventually, you get to collect data and start distinguishing and discerning, like, where do I aim? But it's great to start. You don't have to be great to start. You have to start so that you can get great. You don't have to aim immediately, ready, fire, aim, but you do get to aim later. Please aim. Eventually aim, because then you'll have more elegance. You'll have more leverage, which goes back to our first conversation. All right, so our last conversation of the day, and then probably we'll play and pray. It's also highly entertaining, that belief in technology piece. That's a tangent that I'm going to discipline myself not to follow, but thanks for sharing. I'm glad you're engaging. So now we're going to talk about your wish is your command, which is the most powerful manifestation tech in this space. And it's worked for me for about 13 years. Everything from moving to Austin to manifesting partners to manifesting 10K clients who come to me. Some of my clients have come to me saying, my guides told me I was supposed to work with you. My intuition told me I must work with you. Who'd love to have people pay you lots of money and say those sorts of things to you? Yeah, this your wish is your command technique works, right? So buy the book, read the book, own the book, honor the book, practice. We're going to actually be practicing. Who wants to use the retreat to practice manifesting a chief aim? Come on, I'm going to give you so much to feel good, so good now. Okay, great. So the technique involves the 4 basics, the 5 basics. That was a joke for those of you who've heard your wish is your command. He says it that way. And then the actual manifestation technique. So who wants to take the 5 basics? I was really hoping for Preston, but he disappeared. He's doing something. All right, I'll take the 5. Oh, is he back? You want to give us the 5 basics with elegance?
Who do you listen to? Teachability index, training balance scale, the 4 magic steps to unconscious competence, and mastering the basics.
Amazing. I love that summary. And because you're busy, I'm going to give you a thumbs up and I'll delve into deepening those and distinguishing them fully. Who do you listen to? You listen to those who have what you want and can tell you how to get it, who have recipes and embodied results to show you that they know how to get you where you want to go. They've done what you want to do already. Now, we'll go deeper into teachability on the retreat. For me, it's a constellation of different styles of results because you can make 10 grand, you can make $1 million, but hate yourself in the process or not feel good now along the way. Yeah, it's from where you are. And this leads to a quote from is it Mary Morrissey? I think it is, from Dream Builders Live or Dream Builders Virtual. Great program, great retreat event. It was online. It wasn't a retreat. She said, do the best of what you can with what you have from where you are. Pick a direction, pick a recipe, start walking. You'll learn so much more from practicing and seeing what happens than from getting stuck in your head. If you're in your head, you're dead. If you're in your heart, you're art. If you're in action and you're in communication, you're spectacular. That last one didn't rhyme, but you get it. So who do you listen to? In this case, I would say, listen to me. I can tell you how to be really happy and thrill and thrive in business. Who's there for that? Who's here for that? Okay, cool. Or in entrepreneurship and wealth to some degree. Yeah, cool. I did at one point have between 30 and 50 grand in cryptocurrency. So for whatever that's worth in wealth building. So who do you listen to leads to Teachability Index. There's 2 angles to the Teachability Index. 1 to 10 scale on how willing are you to learn. I can tell that yours is pretty high. You showed up on a Wednesday night. You could have been anywhere doing anything. It's not mandatory that you show up and honor your word. But you proved to me, you demonstrated to me by showing me your feet. I don't give a shit very often what people say as much as how they play, where they walk, where their feet are. The soles of your feet are in this room. Thank you for being here. So willingness to learn, 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your willingness to learn is? I'm going to give you the answers for thank you. That's an 8. Yeah, see, good. That's great. Oh, is that a 9? It's a 9. Yeah, thank you. So for me, it's like a 7. Well, there it is. That's why it's a 7 for Antonia, because Louis is only at a 7. No, that's not always true. Sometimes it's a useful frame, but I recommit to teachability, willingness to learn, willingness to accept change, which requires more elegance and less action and less activity. More clutter, less teachability. More clutter, less coachability. More coaches, trainings, and programs, less effectiveness in all of them, which is why I recommend one coach for one facet of life at a time. Not 10, not 12, not two. So teachability also looks like willingness to change. To know and not to do is not to know. So what is your willingness to change? Expressed in your actual behavior. Artemis is fond of saying that I'm one of the most coachable coaches in Austin. It just takes some time. He'll tell me something, he'll assign it to me, and then 6 months later, I'll be like, man, you're so right. So I'm willing to give myself a 9. And then these two numbers are multiplied. 6 p.m. is when my how teachable am I notification popped up exactly when you asked. We're manifesting exactly the frequencies that you're focused on. You're a powerful manifester. You manifested the distinction of teachability. Well done. We're going to have so much magic like that on the retreat. That's how those things go. Synchronicity and serendipity through intention and speaking. So teachability index, who recommits to teachability on both angles? Yeah, great. You hear the value. By the way, if our culture and this coaching program were just the distinctions I've given you so far, in you embodied at a level of mastery, would that make it worth it? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. I mean, that's why I made the M5. It was the Money Mastery Monthly Mastermind originally, but then it became the Manifestation Monthly Mastery Mastermind. And now it's just the Mastering Mastery Monthly Mastermind. Like this is really fun and entertaining and delightful to witness Preston's like work. I'm gonna put myself on the screen so I'm not distracted. And no make wrong there. So teachability index, training balance scale, and then yeah, so now we're into training balance scale. Sorry. Training balance scale is most people that there's the actions and the thought, the thinking, the vibration, the intention. Excuse me, those are two separate things. Actions, which is expression and works. Faith without works is dead. Then there's faith, which is intention, vibration, thoughts, and feelings, which lead to actions. Thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. Sometimes feelings lead to thoughts too, lead to actions, lead to results. You look at polyvagal theory, that's a thing. Your body can have a reaction to the perception of a threat through your spinal cord and your nerves before your brain comes up with a story or even cognizes a thought about it. This is why we heal our trauma or deal with our trauma so that the body no longer keeping score, no longer holding on to sores and pain can release us to feel not just peace, love, and joy, but better perception and better manifestation, more grace and ease and expression. So teachability index.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Amen. Can I get an amen? I'm going to go full on woo and share my deepest like thoughts about spirituality and meta modeling on coaching. And it's going to be a blast. It was so much fun to put together between 6 and 8:30 this morning after I woke up wired but tired. So training balance scale, 90% of it is the thought. He who has a strong enough why can endure any how. That was Nietzsche. The magic of thinking big says if you get fully embodied as your why, you'll figure out the how. You will manifest. You'll attract the how. Marilyn Janae says, forget the how, enjoy the wow now. Actually, I think I spun off on that quote. She's like, let go of the how, enjoy the wow. Right? So if you enjoy the wow now, you can trust that you will receive in due time, in aligned timing, what you're focused on, even if it takes longer and looks different than what you expected. Who's got some took longer, looks different than expected recently? Like I thought I already have a new client. Okay, well, keep working diligently, lovingly. So then we move from that to the 4 steps, from incompetence to conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. And then I actually identified another level to this, which is unconscious competence or conscious unconscious competence. There's a scene in American Dad. Who's seen American Dad? Maybe a little bit. No, yeah, a couple people. All right. So Patrick Stewart plays a CIA like director. He's sitting down to dinner with his date. His date walks away, goes to the bathroom, comes back up, puts her hands over him, and she's like being playful and flirtatious. And he reaches back and he breaks her neck. It's a cartoon. It's crazy. It's funny. It's violent. But um, the next scene is you see the police asking, "Well, what happened?" And he said, "Well, I the training took over." So unconscious competence is not the end of the game. You can have an autopilot response that you've programmed in that might not be the best response to what you're dealing with or what you're engaged in. Now, this is like a really edge case, right? Most people, they're just happy to get to unconscious competence where they're on autopilot with something good that works for them. Like the red, yellow, green distinction, like, oh, I'm at yellow. Maybe I should get the fuck out of this conversation and regulate my nervous system with the vagus nerve reset. Or I'm triggered. Oh, man, before I go to red, right? So conscious incompetence, you know that you don't know. Unconscious incompetence, you don't know what you don't know. Y'all, you don't know what you don't know about what's possible in manifestation or feeling good now. I promise you, and you're going to discover some of it on the retreat. I'm super excited to share it with you. Like there's stacks of supplements that will have you function better. You know that everybody see Limitless, the movie? That shit is real. Maybe not to that level of intensity. You won't work out the stock market the next day from taking a single clear pill, but you will have insights and breakthroughs and just be like, wow, this is possible. A state of feeling good now like this. That's what I'm committed to on the retreat. And then so conscious competence is you start to know how to do the thing, but you still have to practice it. Unconscious competence is, hey, now I know that I know how to do this. I can deploy it on command. And it doesn't matter when you get into the book. It matters when the book gets into you to where you're no longer doing the thing. It's doing you. It's autopilot flowing through you because then you know don't then you can stop the flow if you need to, probably if you're consciously unconsciously competent. The fifth level. And then so those are the four basics. The fifth basic is focus on the fundamentals. Be masterful with the four basics. Because as you're applying these, the technique of manifestation will work even better for you. What is the technique? Stand in the feeling of your wish fulfilled with one, not 10, not two, chief aim over time, feeling as good as possible, imagining you've already achieved it. Choosing something to put in that slot that is a sweet spot goal. You have a high belief, a high desire, and then cultivate states of feeling as good as possible right now in your daily life without letting go of discipline. I found this out recently that if I focus too much on feeling good now and not enough on doing what must be done and honoring my word and just getting shit done, then stuff will fall by the wayside as I'm off in bliss, right? So we're not here to jerk yourself off with joy merely. We're not here to
I
embalm
relate
you.
to that distinction.
Yeah, that's great. Mm.
It,
Oh, he was so excited and then he stifled himself. You got to have the courage of your convictions, like in Julia and Julia, when you flip that omelet. Like, just do it. I'm open to hearing more if that was the invitation. But if you can give me 30 more seconds, whatever it was.
it's flittering away, and I'm feeling called to just continue listening.
No worries. All right. That's cool. So, all told, feeling good now is not the whole story, but it's a big part of the story because we function better, we process faster, we're more creative, we make better decisions, we see more options when we feel good now. And we're magnetic for our good, not just socially, but energetically, emotionally, psychologically. Marshall, you got something quick to drop in?
Yeah. With that piece about feeling good and then the discipline, because we're humans, we're in motion and we're energy in motion. I feel like it's actually kind of fine tuning a pendulum
Mm.
because you're going to kind of need to swing back and forth just by the nature of moving from different states.
Yeah, and it's like a tending towards in your oscillation.
Yeah.
Like I'm moving towards feeling good now because being in that range makes me function better, but I'm always also going to fall out or forget or go out of integrity. But it's the
Yeah.
thing that matters.
And then, like the mastery, the unconscious consciousness with that is like, oh, how does it stay within this sort of range rather than maybe all over the place.
Yeah. Which goes all the way to somebody y'all might appreciate, Derek Han, who was in my men's group last year. He was famous for saying, I'm not aiming for 90%, 99 or 100% perfect. I'm aiming for 76. And where he got that number, I was just like, what the fuck, man? That's so silly. And he would talk about it. He'd be like, yeah, I just want to function basically well, but I don't need to be optimized. And that can be a problem in like biohacking and vibration stacking or whatever. Like, all right, I'm at 100 and then you crash. I'm going to get real vulnerable because we've got 4 minutes and it's fun to fill the space with that. By the way, who got what you came for? Any, yeah, the challenge in terms of cannabis, uh, just leverage this space. Preston, will you celebrate every day that goes by in the group thread with like day 1 out of 40 done?
Yes, and that is fully in my intention behind sharing it in this group, is that this is the place where my integrity is the highest and cleanest. And I intend to exactly leverage that in direct teachability from Jonathan England's towards the end, where he talks about how to actually get a way to increase the leverage towards yourself and accomplishing things like this.
Cool. Simple. We got this. Yeah, because that was your one challenge. I wanted to come back around and make sure we did some work on it. Um, and then the best way to stop doing something that's addictive, other than putting yourself in a different state where you don't have access to any marijuana. And if you bring marijuana into my retreat center, I will kick you out. That is that, that's funny, but it's not a joke. It's in support of you, and I just don't like drugs on campus without people telling me. Not that anybody was going to do that, but I'm just doing the best that I can to throw as much leverage at you as possible, sir. So anyway, throwing yourself into a different state, into a different circumstance, and focusing on feeling good now and replacing your negative habits with positive ones. Positive ball of energy. You know about this. So I choose to finish my thought. What was it? Oh, it was feeling too good now. So if you focus or obsess on feeling too good now, you may let yourself down. And here's an example. I'm 40 days clean of porn, which I'm reporting. Yeah, thank you. I yeah, it means something. And I share that not just with Preston so that he sees that we're in a not in the same boat, but a similar boat. You know, I don't have any desire for it anymore. And what I found was the last chink in my armor was that I would take dopamine supplements, some of which the men on the retreat may try. Um, and there's going to be some dopamine supplements for the women too. Um, but Mucuna pruriens, the strongest naturally occurring dopamine supplement on the planet, will be in our Sunday smoothie for the retreat. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a spoiler. I guess it's a teaser trailer now. We've got 1 minute. So I would take this dopamine supplement and I would feel really, really good. And then in the evening, I would crash and I'd go below baseline and my nervous system would start hunting dopamine sources. And the most readily available one was whatever porn I could find. And then I would use, and it would spike me. And then I would go even further down. And then there would be even more negative behaviors. So don't feel too good. Feel good, but sorry, Marshall's like, this lesson does not seem to apply as much as you want. Be careful. Be careful of what supplements you take. I think that's the best thing. Training balance scale, feel good now, plus 3 priority tasks per day. Great. Everybody put in the chat, what are you walking away with? One word, because we're about to jump off. I'm walking away with joy. Thanks for allowing me to be in service to you today. Excitement, Preston says. Come on, y'all. I got 45 seconds to close this computer. Connection. Contentment. All right, everybody, come off of mute. We're gonna yell out what M5 on 3, 2, 1.
M5.
All right, I love
M5.
you all. I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful night.
See you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank
Thank
you
you, Louis.
all.
Bye.